Hey guys, Crow Cooper here with On the Black, and I am joined by Dave Doyle of Mets Report. Hey Dave, how you doing?
Great, thanks for having me on.
No problem. So here we are in September. Mets are out of it, even though some fans out there are actually holding out hope for the wild card. I'm not one of them.
No,
Um, but it's been first question I want to ask you is it's been kind of a roller coaster season, right? I mean, at the beginning of the year, this team started off really good. They were in the playoff picture up until the end of June, early July, and then they just tanked and they just looked like a totally different team. And now, September, end of August, September, they've I think won like seven out of their last eight games now. I mean, which team is the real team, or is it somewhere in the middle between these two that we've seen this year?
that's a good question, and they have been very streaky, especially the second half of the season so far. But one thing I would say, though, is that at their current winning percentage, they are on pace to win 77 games this year, which is exactly what they won last year.
Okay.
So, and if you think about that, they lost Reyes for nothing from last year.
Yep.
They traded Angel Pagan for nothing. And they're still on pace to finish where they did last year. So I'll give
With a
them some
lot less payroll.
with a lot less, $50 million, the biggest single season drop in payroll in MLB history. So I will give them some credit for that.
Yeah, no, I mean some of the guys, Tejada and others, I mean have stepped in and played really well. Actually, I'm gonna try to look a little bit later on to see where Tejada's stats are compared to Reyes. Even though Reyes obviously has a lot more talent there, but I mean they have had guys that have stepped up. I mean, who would have thought Dickey would have had this unbelievable year that he's had? I didn't think. I mean, he's out now, but I didn't think Santana was going to pitch as well as he did this year earlier in the year. So, despite some of the other things that they've had going on, whether it be Jason Bay or the bullpen or injuries, they had guys that stepped up and played really well this year at times.
They have, but they've also had people like Ike Davis, who was a disaster for the first half of the season.
Yep.
And they've had Andres Torres, who couldn't hit his way out of a paper bag. If you take a look at his stats versus what Angel Pagan's doing for the Giants this year for a division-leading team, and that'll make you very sad and seriously question what Sandy Alderson is thinking.
Yeah, no, I hear you. And switching topics here for a second, let me ask you about Dickey. He's got, 17 wins now. He's probably got at least, I would think, five more starts left this year. I mean, do you think, one, is he going to get to 20 wins? And what are the chances of you giving him to actually win the Cy Young this year?
Boy, that's a tough one. I am gonna say I think he's had a few ups and downs, although his valleys have not been very deep this year. But I would say I'm gonna say I think he's gonna get 20 this year. He just looks so good. He looks like he's just really mastered that knuckleball, the hard knuckleball that he throws.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say he's gonna get to 20, and I think if he gets to 20, it's going to be really tough not to give him the Cy Young Award. I would be, if he gets to 20 and he doesn't get it, I'm going to be really, really disappointed.
Yeah, I would be too. I'm not sure if he'll get to 20. I just still don't believe in this team around him. I think the offense is going to probably struggle at times. I think the bullpen might blow a game or two for him. So I would love to see him get to 20. I'm still on the fence about that. I mean, look at the game he had the other day. I mean, I think that what did they win, that 3-0 or whatever. So, and he had to go to a complete game to get that win. So
that is the problem. It's not him. It's the team around him.
Right. So, but you're right. If he does get to 20, he's got to win the Cy Young. If he doesn't, then to me that just tells me that people out there still don't believe in the knuckleball. And I don't know what else more this guy will have to do to prove that. I mean, it's a real pitch. It's not a gimmick. Despite even if you take out this year, I mean, he's been the Mets' best pitcher for the last two and a half years. So, it's great to see. It's a great story.
It is, and I'm wondering if there'll be anybody who that's voting for the Cy Young that still has the feeling that what Dickey is doing at 37 years old is still a fluke, that
Yeah.
he's still a flash in the pan, so to speak.
Right, right, right. And the last question I want to ask you is Joel Sherman from the New York Post wrote an article yesterday. Everyone's talking about it, about, the Mets should trade Wright and Dickey, stack up on young talent and build from there. Wanted to get your thoughts on that. And, if you look at this team, from my perspective, if you look at this team, I mean, they've got a lot of young people, young talent on this team now. I mean, hell, everyone from Buffalo is on this team right now. So, I mean, they're letting the young players play, and some of these guys that are on the team now can be part of the solution. I personally still think that Dickey and Wright can be part of the solution too. Just wanted to get your thoughts on that. I mean, do you think that the Mets should really just kind of get that aggressive and trade Wright and Dickey and really start all the way from the ground up?
Well, I think I understand. I wrote about that yesterday on MetsReport.com, and I understand what he's saying, because I think if you look at it logically, and this stuff isn't always done by logic,
Right.
you have to, but if you look at it logically, this does not look like a team that's going to be competing in the next year or two to be a serious contender.
Right.
I mean, really, do you think that these teams can play with the likes of the Dodgers, the Nationals, the Rangers, the Yankees, the Angels? They're not even on the same planet as those teams right now. So I understand the logic behind it. The problem with that, though, and the reason I don't think that the Wilpons would ever agree to do that, is if you let Dickey, Wright go, try to trade them away for prospects, City Field will be a ghost town
Mm-hmm.
for the next 2 years at least.
Mm-hmm.
And trying to sell the fans on come on out to City Field and see Matt Harvey and Zach Wheeler may get some people out there, but it'll be a tough sell.
Yeah, I agree with you on that, and to me, it's like it's more than just trading away those two guys and bringing in a lot of young talent. Because if you look at all the teams that you just named, I mean, at some point, those teams actually do spend money too, and are not afraid to make a deal. So I don't really care how much young talent you have and how much you want to trade away these guys as stockpiled talent. If you're not going to be in a position to spend money on a free agent here or to make a trade and eat some salary here, then your chances of being successful for a long period of time is slim.
Absolutely. I think the counter argument that though is that the Mets are certainly not a player or two away in free agency from being successful. I don't think anybody would think that at this point. And you look around. Ike Davis had a terrible season. Kind of unsure about what's going to happen with him. Josh Tolley is absolutely awful this year, and I think what his future is seriously in question right now. There's just a lot of question marks on the field, and I don't think that they're close right now. That where free agency and bringing in some big names would get you over the top. They're just not there yet.
Yeah, no, I would agree. I mean, at the beginning of the year, I picked this team to finish in last place. They had a nice run in the first half of the season. They're not in last place now, but they're definitely not towards the top either. So,
Yeah.
yep, yep. Well, hey, Dave, I want to thank you for joining me today. I know we didn't have a regular chat throughout the year, but would love to get together with you again shortly after the season ends and do a bit of a recap then.
That sounds great.
All right, thanks, Dave.
Thank you.